This is Anthony Griff with A.D.D Entertainment. SPC-TV presents. I'm here with the members of Halestorm. You guys want to introduce yourself to the camera?
Hi.
Hey everybody, I'm Lizzie Hale, lead vocals and guitar.
RJ Hale, drums and vocals.
Joe Hale, guitar.
I like how you just jumped through that. Hi, I'm Josh. I play bass. Josh Hale, over there.
Yeah.
We're brothers. Not the difference.
So you guys held this band together when you were 13 and he was 10. How did it come about besides the talent show?
Besides the talent show, you know, it's funny. We actually named the band on the way to that talent show. Actually, it was a family band, and I think my mom actually wanted to. She suggested the Hale Family Band. That was not a good choice.
The Hale Family duo could have possibly.
Yeah, possibly, but we immediately shut that down. So
Hale's on Ice.
Actually, we just did Halestorm on Ice. We were playing in Nebraska, and we were playing like on an ice rink. So I got to finally say it's Halestorm on Ice. Filming. But yeah, it started it when we were young. We're very fortunate to know what we wanted to do at a young age. It's funny. I think my parents were actually very overjoyed that we did not want to be doctors and lawyers because they know nothing about that. So yes,
rock and roll. We can call it the Halestorm Family Band. The Halestorm Family Band.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be opposed.
You wouldn't be opposed?
Maybe that'll be the next album title.
That'd be good.
I'm seeing working title.
We have to get a banjo.
Hailstorm and Snowflakes. The Christmas album.
It'll be
It'll
be a
I like it. I like it.
Oh yeah, whodunit.
So
it's gonna be one hail of a Christmas. I don't know. We're just brainstorming.
Oh, I don't know.
We're just brainstorming. Sorry.
Sorry, everybody. Sorry.
So growing up, you and Junior here were exposed to a lot of classic rock.
We were. My parents made sure that we were listening to some of the earliest music that I remember listening to in our days, Vanilla Fudge and
Cream.
That sounds like a porno. I'm sorry, Vanilla Fudge.
Oh man.
You know what? They might have done that later. I don't know. They kind of dropped off the face of the earth.
Deep Purple.
But yeah, Deep Purple.
Dio. Black Sabbath.
Yeah, Black Sabbath. Oh, the Beatles. My mom was always a huge fan of the Beatles, so that was like our VHS tape when we were younger.
Let's just get David.
Was Meet the Beatles and also Hard Day's Night. So we would watch all that stuff. And yeah, it's interesting because when we were starting out, my dad's a bass player, so he was very, very excited when we decided to start the band. In fact, his fatherly advice to me was, he sat us down and said, "Lizzie, my fatherly advice to you is don't do drugs. But if you're going to do drugs, make sure your entire band does the same drugs," because that was my downfall. He was in a band in the 70s called Hyper, and every single band member was doing something different. The drummer was a cokehead, the keyboardist was a stoner, it's like on and on. So they didn't know where they were coming or going, But anyway, my dad ended up playing bass for us for about 2 years. It was very much like the Partridge Family meets Spinal Tap. Very, very strange stuff. There's YouTube evidence that we built a rotating drum kit for RJ. I don't know whether you check that out on YouTube. He's a little tyke. We built it it is a tractor axle, some Ford parts, donated steel, made a platform, and bolted an old kid of his to it, and strapped him in with seat belts and let him fly. This is my family here. Okay, so you're letting your kid start a band, and then you build this contraption to stick your at the time I think what 11, 10, 11 this torture device. You strap your kid in, and my mom was usually the one spinning it in the background. We might break it out later on. I don't know. We still have it actually. He's just got a little tall, so his head on the ground.
A lot of we could all take turns.
There you go. That's how we generate the RV. A lot of parental support. That's kind of what you really need if you're going to start a band. If you're going to start young, you got to have your parents giving you support. Not telling you what to do, or not being typical stage parents, but just like supporting and whatever Lizzie and I wanted to do, they were behind us 100%. And not only just taught us about being a band, being a unit, being together, but also, you know, being good as a live band first. You know, to be able to play and play a whole song front to back. You know, good, and play it live and play it together as a unit. That's what they taught us a lot.
And it's so funny because it wasn't until we entered onto, you know, the scene, you know, that we realized that, you know, really anybody can be in a band. Doesn't mean it's good, but like you can go in and anybody, you don't have to know how to sing, you don't have to know how to play, you know, to go into a studio and make a good record. And that's why I'm really glad that we did things the way we did, because when we were growing up, what we were taught from our parents and from everything that we learned about the music business and you know, is Rock 101. You have to know how to sing, you have to know how to write songs, you have to know how to play an instrument, you have to have stage presence. You know, you have to know how to do these things in order to be in a band. So we took that to heart and you know, we're plugging away doing that, and it's an advantage now, you know, that we're in this scene, because everyone's like, oh wow, surprise, you can actually play, and we're like, really? That's a surprise. That's a shame, you know. So yeah,
that's kind of wild. When did you actually pick up the guitar?
Me, I got into it late. I started out on keyboards. I had a keytar. That was the transition. So I started when I was 17. 17, it's been 9 years, I think, around that. And so, I mean, you learn something new every day. I fell in love with it. It's one of the most expressive instruments besides vocals, and I just always wanted to, and kind of out of, like, it was before we found these guys. I'm like, well, I really want to be a rock band, and I want to get into a heavier style. That means I'm going to have to put down the keytar and pick up a real guitar.
And Dad's going to have to go behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's what, you know, sorry, Dad.
So how did you meet these two then?
We met these guys. Well, why don't you guys tell the story? You guys.
I answered a single white female ad in the paper.
Female.
No.
The beach.
Single. No. No, it was. I actually did answer an ad in the paper. Went to a studio, auditioned, and got a call next day.
They found me in this big crate on a dock.
Jurassic Park
style. Found him on the side of the road.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
We had to tase train him.
It was pretty cool.
To make him.
I had to teach him how to speak English.
Yeah, I didn't know English at all.
Very well.
Came here on a floating door.
We still have a taser for when he shoots up.
Yeah, you did good tonight, though. It's alright, you're safe.
You're not fired yet.
You get a treat.
No, we were working with a producer. This
right.
cat, David Ivory, in Philadelphia. It was who worked with the Roots and 10,000 Maniacs.
Yeah.
And like some pretty heavy hitters. And he started developing us, and we were more or less trying to get this thing together, trying to get the full unit together, because it was basically just me and Lizzie. Our other players, you know, were a thing of the past. We needed to step up. We needed some really good musicians.
Yeah, and Josh was in a band that was also working with this guy, and you know, we met Josh and like, we just need a temporary bass player. Just come on in for just a little while, and then, you know, he ended up
come play in our sandbox for a little bit.
Yeah, come play in our sandbox.
And he got hooked like crack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's still
down the rock.
Hooked in. You know, it's great because, I mean, RJ and I are blood related, but these guys might as well
be.
And
I think from the start,
it was the chemistry was instantaneous, and these two started out young too. I mean, you know, both of them were in bands when they were, you know, barely out of middle school.
Yeah, we all started at the same age, just a little apart. And finally found each other. It's like.
So what were your guys' influences then? If theirs was more classic rock, was it the same, or was it something?
I came from like 90s rock, you know.
Alternative? Or?
Yeah, like Nirvana was my first super favorite band.
Nice.
And, you know, Soundgarden, it was like rock radio. I would listen to the rock radio and like, I need that album. So I joined BMG and got them all.
Been there, done that. I used to join that, quit after a year, then